leader, Jim Allister, with us today. Jim, when you hear that, now a medicines border down the Irish Sea, what do you say?
Well, I think anyone who hears that, whether they're pro-EU, anti-EU, nationalist, unionist, will be absolutely appalled. But cancer it can pick on any of us, of whatever our background. And to think that courtesy of the protocol, patients in Northern Ireland who have lung cancer, who need this post-operative drug, are going to be in a disadvantaged position compared with like patients in the rest of the United Kingdom, then I think it is truly appalling. And a practical demonstration that in reality the protocol is bad for your health. This arises because because the UK has been able to leave the EU, we now control, the UK controls its medicines under its own agency, the Medicines Healthcare Regulatory Authority. But because of the protocol, Northern Ireland has been left behind under the control of the EU Medical Agency. And everyone is aware that in recent months we saw how slow and tardy that organisation was in approving vaccines for the EU. Now we are going to be under the same orbit as them and therefore suffer the same delays and the same bureaucracy and the same denial, as in this case, of vital life-saving drugs. That's absolutely outrageous. And it is putting the lives of people, it is putting the protocol above the lives of citizens. How could that ever be right? We're part of the United Kingdom. We should be subject to the same regulatory authority in respect of medicines and drugs as the United Kingdom and have the same benefits. And yet we are to be denied those because of the protocol. And that's one of the reasons why, of course, today I and others are taking to the High Court this whole discriminatory aspect of the protocol and seeking to have it set aside. And, you know, this isn't some obscure philosophical or political argument. When you see something like this, it brings it home to everyone, or it should, to what the practical implications of this iniquitous protocol are.
Well, the Department of Health is stressing that this drug is still available in Northern Ireland. They're conceding there will be more red tape, but they're saying it is still available.
Well, it's available in the sense, and of course it's the 1st of January before we totally pass under the control of the EU Medical Agency. It's available in the sense that any unapproved drug can, on special application by your clinician, which is a very protracted process. I've dealt with a number of those cases on behalf of constituents. Any non-approved drug, which this would be in Northern Ireland, can ultimately be used on special permission.
Yeah. And I've dealt with many cases like that over the years, and that can take a lot of time, would be my experience of dealing with those type of stories.
Absolutely. You see, when the United Kingdom left the EU, Matt Hancock, the health minister, said this: leaving the EU presented us with the opportunity to join Project Orbis. Now, Project Orbis is an international collaboration between the United States, the UK and Singapore to speed up the time it takes to approve new medicines. And under Project Orbis, this life-saving drug has been approved, and because the UK is now out from under the constraints of the EU Medicines Agency, they can immediately avail of it. But we can't, because we're still left within the orbit of the EU. And of course, that is something which is not only damaging to our health, but damaging to democratic control. Why should the people of Northern Ireland who elect their own elected representatives be governed by an agency over which they have no control, by laws into which they have no input? And yet that is what the protocol does. So those who pretend and proclaim that the protocol really it doesn't have practical detriment, see, in this case, not only does it have practical detriment, but it has death-inducing detriment when it comes to the denial of cancer drugs. It's absolutely
Well, you don't know
appalling.
that it has death-inducing detriment. You do not know that.
Well, I do know that what I read, I'm not a medical man, but I do read what the medics have been saying, and it is described as a life-saving drug, which when someone has surgery for lung cancer, this is a drug which can be used and helps their chances of survival and recovery. So if you can't get access to such a drug, then it is death-inducing, the denial of that. So I think it is a fair description of the situation in which people in Northern Ireland, without their consent, have been placed.